All right, your lowest level of tropical cyclones are your tropical depressions. Okay, when a tropical disturbance, remember those that are just indicated by the yellow or orange or red X's. When a tropical disturbance, the X's, become better organized and start to display some sort of circulation, then it becomes a tropical depression. That's your lowest level of tropical cyclone. Okay, so a tropical depression is a cyclone with an organized system of clouds and thunderstorms with a defined circulation, but maximum sustained winds of 38 miles per hour or less. Okay, so this is just an image of a depression from a couple of years ago. And remember that tropical depressions, they just get numbered. So for instance, this is Depression 2. That just simply means that it was the second tropical depression for the Atlantic hurricane season for whatever year this is. Okay? Movement was west-northwest at 13 miles an hour. The 13 miles an hour, that's not the swirling wind speeds within the storm. That's how fast the entire storm system is moving. Okay? This maximum winds, that tells you how fast the winds are swirling within the storm. Okay, so just make sure you keep those two things straight. But a tropical depression, like I said, is kind of your lowest level tropical cyclone. If a tropical depression gets a little bit better organized and strengthens, it can become a tropical storm. A tropical storm is a tropical cyclone that has sustained winds of at least 39 miles per hour, but has winds of no more than 74 miles an hour. Okay? When a tropical cyclone becomes a tropical storm, then it gets a name. Remember, when it's a depression, it just gets numbered. Okay? But when it becomes a tropical storm, it gets a name off of the official list, and those lists are generated a couple years in advance, and those names go basically alphabetically. So the first named storm of the Atlantic hurricane season would be something with a name that starts with A, and then the next storm would be a name that starts with B, so on and so forth. Okay? This is actually Tropical Storm Maria from a few years ago. Notice that the winds, the sustained winds are 50 miles an hour. Wind gusts can be up to 65. The whole entire storm system is moving west at 20 miles an hour. Pressure is 1,002 millibars. I know that doesn't mean a whole lot to you, but that's below what normal surface air pressure is. Because remember, these are all low pressure systems. Low pressure systems just generally are associated with rising warm air, cloud formation, thunderstorms, etc. Okay? All right, but the big thing about a tropical storm is it's somewhere between 39 and 74 miles an hour for sustained winds, typically the winds that are right at the center of the storm. And when it becomes a tropical storm, it gets a name. Then we move on to hurricanes. Hurricanes are kind of your papa bear of your tropical cyclones. They are the highest level. Okay, so these are tropical cyclones with organized circulation and sustained winds of at least 74 miles an hour. Okay? Now, notice this is a satellite image, and there are 1, 2, 3 named storms in this satellite image. From left to right, this is Hurricane Katia, Hurricane Irma, and Tropical Storm Jose. And you'll notice that Tropical Storm Jose actually covers more area than Hurricane Katia, but that doesn't necessarily indicate what the central wind speeds are. Okay? So these two have sustained winds of at least 74 miles an hour, therefore they are hurricanes. And this one is still only classified as a tropical storm. This is actually, you can actually go into the National Hurricane Center archives and look at these storms if you want to, because they're all from 2017. Okay? Okay, so now we need to talk about the Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. When they classify tropical cyclones, they are classifying them based on sustained winds only. They are not classifying them according to their air pressure. They're not classifying them as far as like how big they are, like, you know, from one side of the storm to the other. They're not classifying any of that. They are only classifying sustained winds. Okay? There are many other hurricane-related impacts besides wind. So it's important to keep in mind that just because the winds are way up, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the most destructive hurricane. There are a lot of other factors involved, and that's part of what we're going to talk about in the next couple of slides in the next video. But here is our Saffir-Simpson hurricane wind scale. At the very bottom is tropical depression. Remember, the baby bear of the family. Winds, sustained winds are no more than 38 miles an hour. Okay, remember, make sure you look at your wind speed scale. This column is miles per hour. This column is in knots or nautical miles per hour. That's a little bit different. I would make sure that you pay attention to miles per hour. Okay, so 0 to 38 miles an hour. Tropical storms are 39 to 73, 39 to less than 74. Okay, so if their sustained winds are in this category, they will be classified as a tropical storm. And then if it's a hurricane, it can be a Category 1 hurricane, a Category 2 hurricane, a Category 3, a 4, a 5. There are no categories above 5. Okay? So, if the sustained winds in a hurricane are between 74 and 95 miles an hour, they're going to classify it as a Category 1 hurricane. If it is at least 111 miles per hour, meaning it's at least a Category 3. 3s, 4s, and 5s are classified as major hurricanes because they really have some potential to do some widespread damage. But again, the winds don't always indicate how much damage you're going to get. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. Okay, join me for video number 3 to wrap up this slideshow.